actions, but strong not the less. In earth, because we are the mothers who gave birth to this universe. So women, the world will give you reasons to continually live in hate. But I'm here to tell you that it doesn't always have to be that way. You have to reciprocate love, even if love doesn't reciprocate you. You are a woman, the eighth wonder. Just always be you. Thank you.
Thank you, Angel, for that great performance. At this time, we will call on Honorable Mary Johnson, member of the Women Legislative Caucus of Liberia, for the introduction of the guest speaker. Welcome, Honorable Johnson. Today is the induction ceremony of the Women Legislative Caucus. Can we celebrate the women of the caucus? Thank you.
By the way, I know you were already called. I'm Honorable Mary Johnson from Gonjaga County District Number 2. Honorable Vice President, Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, Honorable Pro Tem, the UN representatives here present, the Sweden ambassador, thank you, the ambassador of the Ireland, the European Union, and the political advisor. If I didn't mention you, I'm sorry. I am honored to introduce our guest speaker for this unique program. Our guest speaker was born in Monrovia, where he obtained a secondary education from the Jonathan Gorich High School in 1987. He sought for higher studies at the Lincoln College of Professional Studies in 1988 and studied bookkeeping and accounting. During the inception of the war, he fled to Nigeria, where he enrolled into the Mautu Community Junior High of Business, Lagos State, Federal Republic of Nigeria, and graduated with honor, earning an associate degree with emphasis in cost and financial accounting. He returned to the country after the cessation of the war and enrolled at the University of Liberia in 1997. Graduated in 2001 with bachelor's degree from the College of Business and Public Administration. He later obtained an MBA in Finance from Cottington University Graduate School in Monrovia. Our guest speaker benefited from a scholarship which afforded him another MBA in Public Finance from Grand Canyon University, Phoenix, Arizona, USA. While at the faculty exchange program in 2015, for 2 semesters, he was privileged to teach at the College of Business, University of Baltimore, Maryland, USA. He is currently a candidate for PhD in accounting at the Grand Canyon University, Phoenix, Arizona, USA, while also serving as an associate professor of accounting at the University of Liberia master's degree program, where where he lectures on governmental budgeting and accounting, advanced accounting, and cost accounting. He has always had a knack for politics. And after 2 successful attempts, he was elected to the House of Representatives to serve the people of District Number 11, Masurano County, in the 54th legislature. He achieved a re-election in 2023 after relatively successful 6 years at the legislature, where member of key committees, including public accounts, banking and currency, and commerce and industry. He is currently the Speaker of the 55th Legislature of Liberia. He is happily married to Mrs. Christine B. Tonkon. Distinguished guests, our Speaker.
Thank you so much. Please have a seat. His Excellency, the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, our Pro-Tem of the Liberian Senate, our partners, ambassadors here present, other government officials, member of the legislature here present, our staffs, to the press, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the 55th legislature, I congratulate the Women Legislative Caucus of Liberia on the induction ceremony of a new corps of officers. It is a distinguished honor for me to serve as a keynote speaker for this program, an opportunity I cherish and will use to recommit and communicate my vision for increased women leadership and participation in the legislature. Distinguished colleagues, other guests, Your Excellency, our Vice President, while this induction ceremony celebrates the joining of women's political leadership and participation in the legislature, it also serves as a movement to reflect the ongoing struggle for the adequate and equal representation of women in elected legislative position and leadership decision-making processes. The facts and figures regarding women's political leadership and participation are appalling and demand our urgent intervention. To the Honorable Chairperson-elect and distinguished colleagues, since 2006, the proportion of women in the legislature has steadily declined. Following 2023 presidential and legislative elections, women's participation in the legislature stagnated at 10.7%. The number of women in the House of Representatives reduced by 1, and the number of women in the Senate increased by 2. It means of 73 seats in the lower house, women occupy only 8, while in the Senate, with 30 seats, there are only 3 women. Evidently, a major reason for this dismayed representation of women in the absence of the legally binding gender quota, you all can recall that the repeated attempt to pass mandatory gender quota to increase women political representation fails at so many events, especially in 2004, also in 2010 to 2011, in 2016 to 2017, and again in 2022-2023. A recently revised election bill, which also sought to increase women political leadership and participation, was introduced by me in 2022. The bill was passed by the House of Representatives in February 2022 with the amendments intact. However, Section 4.5 faced strong opposition in the Senate by July 2023. Senators raised constitutional concern and objected to the penalizing parties that failed to meet the quota, citing gender biases in their argument. To secure passage in the Senate of the Section 4.5 was raised to retain a 30% requirement for parties, leadership, and candidate listing, among other things. I encourage this leadership, the new elected leadership, to highly prioritize changing a sad narrative of declining representation of women in the legislature. Fellow colleagues, it is my heartfelt desire that during the next induction ceremony, we will celebrate the increased political participation of women in elected legislative positions. I therefore firmly commit to mobilizing the political will of my colleagues in the lower house and in the Senate through leading a campaign of male champion, the champion of he for she, politicians who will work with this new corps of officers to reproduce the new election law, ensuring the bill is passed with all gender sensitivity provision intact. We cannot move ahead as a country and leave behind almost 50% of our population who are underrepresented in the legislature. Therefore, as you begin the new chapter of this Women Legislative Caucus, the leadership journey, let us work together to increase the level of elected women in our legislature. I want to thank you I want to thank the new leadership and thank you all for your kind attention. We all need to foster our energy to make sure that women's seats are increased. One of the things I've noticed that will stall the increment of women participation in the election is the lack of resources. When more women lack resources to function in the campaign. I can promise you, as Speaker of the 55th Legislature, we will do our utmost best with my fellow colleagues to create a section or a line apportionment specifically to promote women activities in Liberia. Thank you all for your kind attention, and may God bless you. May God bless the work of our hands and turn our leadership vision into action and our action into transformation for the good of our country, Liberia. I salute the newly elected chairperson. May God continue to guide you and give you wisdom to lead your colleagues. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I want to say a big thank you to the guest speaker, our Honorable Rachel Naheku, Speaker of the House of Representatives. At this time, we will take a musical break. We will call on the Senate choir. that will lead us in a time of inspiration. Thank you.
So, LNTV this is the Women's Legislative Caucus of Liberia induction ceremony taking place here at the Capitol building, and Speaker Richard who just gave speech as the guest speaker, and now musical break is about to take place.
We also helped to give us a share
Worship.
this live podcast to give others watch live this video. Thank you for watching again and keep following and also share this idea to give others who would like to see exactly what is happening to view this. Thank you. I go back
In Jesus' mighty name. So at this time we'll be doing a song that says, "All hail the power." Still in your seat and enjoy the performance, and may the Lord bless our leaders, our Honorable Protem, our Honorable Vice President, our new elected chair. We love to say, hats off to you, and we hope working with you in Jesus' mighty name.
have a picture of
And on the platform there, as you can see, His Excellency and also see
the induction ceremony.
Yambikanga Lawrence is also you can also see.
We will now call to the stage Senior Senator Honorable Yomli Kanga Lawrence, President Pro Tem of the Senate and advisor to the Women Legislative Caucus of Liberia. You are welcome to the station. May we stand up, please, to honor her. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Please have your seats. Let me just announce that if you saw Representative Dixon Sibo directing the choir, it's because he, the Speaker, the VP, and I just agreed that we now have a legislative mass choir instead of just a Senate choir. And that is a show of unity. The Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, the Women Legislative Caucus, UNDP, UN Women, the EU Ambassador, the Ireland, Sweden, Wangoso, platform guests, distinguished guests, women or women. As the outgoing leader of the Women Legislative Caucus, I'm not going to make a speech, but I'm just here to say thank you. I'm here to say thank you to all of our international partners that I just listed. I reserved 3 partners for last that I just listed, because when we took over 2022, there were a lot of support and collaborations that elevated our plans as Women Legislative Caucus. And I will name just 2 of those. I want to say thank you for helping us to conclude on the 5-year strategic plan of the Women Legislative Caucus. And I will ask the audience to give a big hand of applause to all of our partners, especially the UN Women, for that. Also, there are achievements, especially, well, one of our aims is to increase female participation in government. And some of the greatest achievements with that was when we decided that in the 2023 elections, we'll either maintain our number or go above. We fought, our partners worked with us. Some of us didn't come back, but we did maintain our number, and we had 11 women in the legislature. But most importantly, it's the first time that we have a female representative from Grand Jide County, and that was a big achievement. It was a breakthrough. It's also the first time that we have a female senator from Cape Mark County. That is a great breakthrough. And a female representative from Cape Mark County. Not forgetting the Babolu story with Senator Boto Kami. We are grateful to all of you women who fought and supported Boto Kami to come to the Senate. And also my gratitude to all of you for the support for ensuring that I became the first amongst equal, the President Pro Tempore of the Liberia Senate. What was even more amazing is that when most of us thought that women were not interested in politics, during our workshop for the female aspirants in 2023, we had close to 300 women. And that is a big boost and a step forward. We have said over and over that the reason why it's been very tough is because the resources needed to win these elections are very difficult to source, especially for women. We recommended mentoring. We recommended allowing us to tell our own stories to motivate and encourage them. And we recommended planning in the early stages to have several programs in the districts, in the counties, so the awareness could sink in for women to understand the importance of having female as leaders. We want to say thank you, a big thank you to India, Brazil, and South Africa, who has made a huge donation. I will not say what the donation is. I will allow our chair incoming to announce that. But I want to say we are very, very, very grateful for that donation. We look forward to working with our international partners to implement all of our programs that will help to strengthen women in the districts and in the counties, and we attract other women who are not in leadership to come and get supported for the next 2029 elections. We are grateful to the Speaker for his commitment that there will be a line that will support women. That makes it easier for me as the pro tem who is also a female. So that says that the women will definitely come, get supported because the budget starts from the House of Representatives. And with that line, when it gets to us, it's automatically approved, especially when it's about the women, knowing how the Senate, especially the senators, the kind of support we get from them, also the Vice President. So on that note, I would like to also say thank you to the two senators, female senators, Senator Vapla and Senator Boto Kane, for the support to me over the years. And thank you to my colleagues, the representatives, female from the House of Representatives, for all of the support. We worked very, very well together, and we look forward to working with Honorable Ellen Atto to strengthen her so the Women Legislative Caucus can extend and do well at another level. Congratulations, and I would like to call for the induction. I will call on all of the leaders led by the chairperson to come up. All of the new leaders of the Women Legislative Caucus, just come up.
So, induction ceremony.
Senator
Lawrence and being the chairperson of this Women Caucus.
Honorable Ellen Atto, chairperson. Honorable Priscilla Abraham Cooper, co-chair, National Affairs. Honorable Ruki Yato Bari, co-chair on International Affairs. Honorable Bintu Masale, secretary. Honorable Julie Fatuma Wia, financial secretary. Honorable Mrs. Sonny Faka, treasurer. So every 3 years, the leadership of the Women Legislative Caucus rotates. Now it leaves the Senate and is going to the House of Representatives. With all of us senators, now we are advisors for the Women Legislative Caucus. I will now take this time to swear in our leadership.
Thank you for watching. All of you, please help to share this live broadcast so others. Office is about the minister
Okay. I, please say your name after me. I do solemnly swear that I will support, uphold, protect, and defend the Constitution and laws of the Women Legislative Caucus of Liberia, bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic, and will faithfully, conscientiously, and impartially discharge the duties and functions of the office of, to the best of my ability. So help me God.
So credit to that.
Officials.
So our head table, distinguished guests, women, I'm pleased to present to you the new leaders of the Women Legislative Caucus of Liberia. Thank you.
New leaders have been used for Yombly Kanga Lawrence. This is the induction ceremony of the Women Legislative Caucus. After 3 years, there must be a new leader, and today, the women will be inducting their new leader.
Thank you so much.
Let's go back to the program.
Again, can we celebrate the new leadership of the Women Legislative Caucus of Liberia? Thank you so much. We have great hope in you. Thank you. At this time, we will take special statement from Representative Honorable Ellen Atore, Chairperson of the Women Legislative Caucus. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Good afternoon to all. Your Excellency, Mr. Vice President, Honorable Jeremiah Banko, Honorable Speaker and Deputy Speaker of the House, members of the Legislature, Honorable members of the Cabinet, ambassadors of the European Union, Sweden, Ireland, South Africa, and all others present, members of the UN representation, representatives from the civil society, our media. We are honored by your presence today and grateful for the strong support you continue to show for women's leadership in Liberia. This induction marks more than just a change in leadership. It is a moment to reaffirm the role of the Women's Legislative Caucus and set a clear direction for the term ahead. Our mandate remains focused to work across political lines to advance gender equality and women's political participation, to bring women's voices into legislation, and to make our governance more inclusive and responsive. Liberia still has a long way to go. Women make up 11% of the legislature. At the council level, representation is even lower. We have seen improvements in cabinet and deputy ministerial appointments after the 2023 elections, which is commendable, but overall, the numbers reflect structural barriers that remain unresolved, rooted in long-standing norms on equal access to education, resources, and systems that do not fully support women's leadership. Liberia has signed onto global and regional commitments from the CEDAW and the Maputo Protocol. These are not symbolic. We need to see actions. They come with clear obligations to remove the legal and structural barriers that are holding women back. One of the clearest steps we can take is passing a gender quota law. In 2022, the caucus worked to amend the elections law to include a 30% mandatory quota for candidate lists. The bill passed both houses, but did not become a law. Still, it was a strong signal of what is possible when women organize and act with shared purpose. In this new term, the caucus plans to advocate for comprehensive framework on temporary special measures, including binding gender quota for both legislative and on temporary special measures, including a binding gender quota that will encourage
women and make it more enforceable. Our strategic plan from 2024 to 2028 lays out 4 clear priorities. Strengthening the legislative function by promoting gender sensitivity lawmaking and championing specific laws that will support gender parity in leadership and reflect the realities of women and girls across Liberia. Reinforce the oversight role by advocating for gender-responsive budgeting and holding institutions accountable for delivering on policies and programs meant to serve women. And on that note, on a side note, I want to thank the speaker for being farsighted and mentioning here in this public manner that he will ensure that there's something in our national budget for the women. To conclude, we are also there to expand the representation by functioning women that are capable, as well as women who have the desire, and to ensure that we work with them to bring them at the decision-making level. Across all of this, we know the barriers women face remain serious. Most women still lack access to information, political financing, network, and of course support. Many carry the full burden of care responsibilities. Others are treading on silence that they may try to lead. These are not side issues. They go to the heart of why representation remains so low. These are some of the reasons the Women Caucus will work with young women through mentorship and initiatives. This work requires partnership. We want to thank the European Union, the government of Sweden, the Ireland for their continuous support and commitment to the advancing women's leadership and gender equality in Liberia. Their support has made it possible for the caucus to remain active, visible, and engaged in critical moments. We are also very pleased to acknowledge the ongoing support of the Indian Brazil South Africa Facility for Poverty and Hunger Alleviation Fund that was rendered to the caucus to enhance our work across the counties and Liberia at large. The government of India, Brazil, and South Africa, the fund that was given is there to support new initiative with the Women Legislative Caucus currently under development, which will focus on leadership, economic empowerment, regional exchange for knowledge sharing. We especially recognize the long-standing partnership and technical support from UN Women, whose consistent engagement has been central to the work and visibility of the caucus. We also acknowledge the valuable contributions of the UNDP and all of our UN partners in strengthening institutional capacity and promoting inclusive governance. And we will welcome NIMIT as a recent partner to the legislature whose engagement will support institutional capacity building. On this note, on behalf of Honorable Elinor Atore, the chairperson of the caucus, and my members that were inducted in office today, we have pledged our allegiance to work across all of the counties, despite our political differences, to ensure that we are represented and the number will change from 11 women to more. Thank you very much.
So we will now go back to the next
Honorable Rachel Langley Cole, Speaker, House of Representatives, Pro Tempore Yomi Kanga Lawrence, and members of the 55th Legislature, Excellencies, members of the Dupe Mariko, our honored platform guests, special invitees, members of the Focus State, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On this auspicious occasion marking the induction ceremony of the chairperson of the Women's Legislative Caucus, I am honored to invite Liberia's second citizen, Liberia's 31st Vice President, the Honorable Jeremiah Kwan Sr., for special statement.
Vice President of Nigeria is about to make a speech.
Thank you. Please be seated.
So, the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Jeremiah Kwan.
Madam Chairperson, Mr. Speaker, Madam Pro Tem, UNDP, UN Women Representative, the Irish Land EU for African representative here, our international partners, the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm happy to be at this program, at the induction ceremony of a former colleague. We worked together in the 54th legislature under Alia Torre, a strong woman. And I know you are prepared and ready for the task. Congratulations. I also want to bring you a congratulations message from the President of Liberia, President Bwaka, who has asked me why I'm standing here. I should say to you, congratulations to you and your entire leadership, and you have the fullest support of the President. I'd like to recognize the historic contribution of women in this country. A few years ago, we had one of our stronger women, Her Excellency, the former President, Ellen Johnson Sirleaf, who rose from down there to being the President of Liberia when things were really difficult. She broke that glass ceiling, and so the opportunity is yours today to go at every level in politics you can. Let's give it to her, Madam Sirleaf. She broke that ceiling, and so you have that opportunity. Women in politics cannot be overemphasized. And I say to people, without women, there will be no world we live today. And I normally say, imagine if God has given that portion of life that have to do with giving breath. I will not give one. And I know any man who can agree to go with a child in your stomach for 9 months and sit home for 2-3 years watching that child and up to 18 years. By this time, the human race will be over and men were in charge of giving breath. And so women are the owners of this world, and it is because of women that we are here today. So we want to say to you, congratulations. There's a need to increase women representation. And the Pro Tem during a time of during the election of the Senate Pro Tem position, I was one of those stronger persons in her back and fighting, making sure that she's a Pro Tem. And I want to call on the Speaker and the Pro Tem that the last census, the result is still before you. And there's a need to look at that census and see whether we can create additional seats. If it's possible, let's go back to precedent. In 2011, the census in 2008 result gave few counties one seat based on their population, much rather I think 3. People can go back to that. The reason why you want to do that is because there's a advantage of women winning in mostly urban areas. Some areas that are still very traditional, sometimes it becomes difficult. And so based on what you would do with that census result, we can start to create seats looking at gender, especially women, places that they can win easily. We create them as a seat and give them the support that they want. And through the President, I want to commit to you that the president will make sure that that 11 number you're talking about will increase come 2029. You have our fullest support on that. The president wants me to say that to you, that as you have seen in government, like you already said, the number is increasing in the presidential appointment. If you go at county level, there are women superintendents across this country, and they are doing extremely well, very powerful women. And so by that, the president wants me to let you know that by 2029, he will do all he can in his power as president of this country to make sure, if not 60% women, then maybe we can do 50%. Thank you. God bless you.
So the Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, His Excellency Jeremiah, short message to
Thank you. At this time, we will move to remarks. We will now invite to the stage Honorable Dixon Sibo, who will proxy for the Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives. Welcome, Honorable.
Mr. Speaker, Madam Pro Tem, permit me to stay and stand on the existing protocols, taking cognizance of the time that we've already spent here. Let me, on behalf of the Office of the Deputy Speaker, Honorable Thomas P. Fala, congratulate you, Honorable Arthur, and your Court of Officers for this historic turnover and induction. I am proud to be serving with some of the finest and brilliant women in our country. And every time I sit with Senator Daba or Senate Pro Tem or Honorable Bese or Priscilla Kopo, and we have exchange, you know that they are at that level. And so women, if you were thinking that in the old years where they used to think that women are in the background, you better catch up yourself. Mr. Speaker, I heard you talking about the fact that we are going to infuse into the budget a land for the women. Yes, it's one side. I was one of those who thought that we needed to move far beyond just quota in going to elections. We need to ensure and be deliberate that women win. And to a larger extent, that ball is in the court of the women themselves. And I tell you why. You make up more than 50% of our population. And in most cases, you sit down and don't vote for your kind. And vote for men. If you want us to make the change that we are prepared, we who are he for she's to support you, will be rubbing your backs. You need to rub your stomach. When elections are due, look on the list of contestants and find women who are qualified and vote for them. 2029 will make a change. Congratulations again.
Thank you so much. At this time, we want to welcome on the stage the Honorable, the Ambassador from the Swedish Embassy. You are welcome on the stage to make special remarks. Thank you. Yeah, we give a hand of applause.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Pro Tem, distinguished legislators, ladies and gentlemen. Allow me to stand on existing protocol and first of all congratulate the new leadership of the Women's Caucus. This is really an auspicious moment, and also thank you very much for allowing me to make a few brief remarks here. I want to build on what the Honorable Speaker said, and others as well, that 11 is definitely not enough. It's part of the way, but it's clearly not enough. I think we all know that gender equality is so crucial, it's so important in its own right. But if that's not enough for you, then it's also the smart thing to do. It's not only the right thing, it's a smart thing to do. because all our societies grow better and stronger when all of the society is involved, and when women have a seat at the table, when they're able to design our policies, we all have a better future ahead of us. And we need more male voices to stand up for that fundamental point. I'm very glad to see the speaker here and also the Vice President. We need even more male voices to stand up for gender equality. Liberia has come a long way, but much more remains to be done. And there's some talk about 2029, but let's also look at what can be done and should be done during this legislative session. There was a talk about resources, and I think that's a very important point to raise, because women need rights, they need representation, and they need resources. Without all of these 3 R's, gender equality will never be realized. But let's also look at other issues that are important for women, the fight against gender-based violence, for instance. So there's a whole lot to do also in this legislative agenda, in addition to looking at stronger women representation in 2029. With that, I again want to say that this is a great opportunity for celebration, but also as a rallying point to strengthen the fight for gender equality going forward. And I'm very happy and honored that we're able to say a few words. So thank you very much, and congratulations, and you can count on the Swedish Embassy for your full support going forward.
Thank you so much. At this time, we want to welcome a representative from the Irish Embassy to make a special statement. May we please give him a round of applause as he's going back. Thank you.
Thank you. His Excellency Jeremiah Kwon Sr., Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, Honorable Richard Nagbe Kuhn, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Senator Nyongla Kanga-Lawrence, President Pro Tem of the Senate, Honorable Ellen Atore, newly inducted Chairperson, and other members of the Women Legislative Caucus of Liberia, Senate and Representative Committee Chairs on Gender, Magdala Cooper, Special Political Advisor to President Borkai, ambassadors and fellow members of the Diplomatic Corps, civil society, women leaders, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I'm delighted to join you here today at the induction ceremony of the new leadership of the Honourable Women's Legislative Caucus. We gather not just to witness the induction of new leaders, but to reaffirm our shared commitment to a future where women's leadership is not the exception, but the norm. Liberia's journey towards gender equality in governance has been one of resilience and determination, but yet we must also acknowledge the persistent gaps that remain. Despite the critical contribution of women in peace building and democracy of reach, as we've heard, with women making up only 11% of the legislature. This underrepresentation of women in Liberia's political sphere is not just a national concern, but also a global challenge that demands our collective action. Ireland understands this struggle intimately, and we come at this from a position of humility, and we recognize that Liberia's path must be shaped by its unique context. Women remain very underrepresented in the Irish Parliament, though the numbers of female ministers and deputy ministers has increased, in many ways mirroring the situation here in Liberia. The fact that gender quota for women's representation in Liberia still remains to be enacted reminds us of how much work lies ahead. This is not just about fairness. It is about addressing barriers to equitable policy making, meaningful participation, inclusive governance and development. Study after study shows that when women lead, policies are more inclusive, education and health outcomes improve, and governance grows stronger. Therefore, the Liberian Women Legislative Caucus should not be seen as merely a legislative group, but one that is organised to ensure women's voices shape laws, budgets and national priorities. To fully realise this vision, the caucus must also be a catalyst for future leadership. One powerful way to do this is by identifying and mentoring young women who show promise and interest in political leadership, not just in name, but through structured engagement. Each woman lawmaker can serve as a mentor to a future leader. This mentorship should be reflected in action by ensuring gender-based staffing within the offices. Lawmakers will send a clear message that their commitment to equality begins at home. Moreover, the caucus can deepen its public engagement by designing programs or hosting dialogue with young women leaders, civil society and emerging politicians. These platforms can share the inner workings of the WLC, highlight both successes and lessons learned of women lawmakers, and outline ongoing advocacy efforts. This will not only inspire the next generation, but also build a grassroots advocacy bloc, sending a strong signal to the broader public and political institutions that the time for enacting the gender quota bill is now. Today, as you take on this new chapter, I want you to know that you carry the hopes of countless women and girls who see in you the possibility of a more just Liberia. Needless to say, your leadership will face challenges, but remember you are not alone. Ireland, alongside international partners, will walk this path with you. Let today mark not just a celebration, but a renewed pledge to fight for the gender quota, to ensure that the budget explicitly addresses gender issues such as nutrition, sexual and reproductive health care for women and girls, and education, to lift each other up, particularly as I noted earlier, the need for continued mentorship for the next generation of women leaders, and to demonstrate our commitment to concrete change. I thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we will go to the Embassy of South Africa. We want to recognize the ambassador here. Thank you.
Vice President, the Speaker, President of the Portal, distinguished guests, and members of the public. I would like to express my profound gratitude for this opportunity to say a few words at this induction ceremony of Women Legislative Caucus of Liberia that demonstrates our shared commitment towards the promotion of women empowerment and gender equality in 2025, where we celebrate 8 years since the adoption of the Beijing Platform for Action and 25 years since the adoption of the landmark United Nations Security Council Resolution 1325 on women, peace and security. Structures such as the Women Legislative Caucus are fundamental to identifying new pathways to accelerate these empowerment goals in a complex global political environment where we witness a pushback in women and girls' rights. South Africa, as the president of the G20, not only endeavors to recalibrate the global financial and trade architecture so that there's an inclusive and sustainable growth, but it also focuses on women's rights through this specific working group. This is particularly pertinent in this second African Women Decade on Financial and Economic Inclusion 2020 to 2030, where we hope to spotlight the criticality of women's access to finance, market, as well as identify opportunity for women in politics, decision making, civil society, and indeed all spheres of life. Promoting financial inclusion is crucial for economic empowerment and poverty reduction, enabling marginalized individuals to participate in the formal economy. We need to consider how we work to maximize opportunities with the African Continental Free Trade Area Protocol on women and youth in trade to address barriers to women economic inclusion and agency. South Africa has worked to advance a gender transformative economy. In 2021, President Cyril Ramaphosa launched the Women's Economic Assembly, known as WECONA, which was created to advance the participation of women-owned businesses in key sectors of the economy. As gender equality and financial inclusion is deepened in South Africa, setting gender-specific targets that ensure that women are rich and creating reporting incentives that capture or measure these targets will go a long way toward empowering not only women to fully participate in the economies, but also including previously marginalized communities in general. However, there's still a lot to consider and many options to be implemented. As decision makers in Liberia, the responsibility is with you to pay forward to lift possibilities of your women. Their contribution can only advance economic growth and development. Your effort and commitment through the caucus are imperative for the realization of the women economic empowerment and inclusive development in Liberia, with lessons to be shared on the African continent. Finally, I would like to congratulate the new leadership as they assume office, and also remind them that they need to start working on the increasing women representation, as the Vice President has said. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Sorry, I have the master copy, so there's some adjustments. Again, at this time, I want to recognize the Women Legislative Caucus. There are representatives and senators sitting over there. Some of you who might be seeing them for the first time, I will call their name. Can you please wave so that they will just want to recognize you? Honorable Priscilla Abraham Cooper, Honorable Rukiatu Barry, Honorable Bintu Matsale, okay, Honorable Yomli Kanga Lawrence, Honorable Dava Bakla, Honorable Mary Johnson, Honorable Mwema Briggs Mensa, Honorable Boto Kanen, Honorable Bessie Fakai, Honorable Julie Y. Thank you so much. These are the members of the Women Legislative Caucus. If you do not have a copy of this, that's what I'm calling. Thank you so much. At this time, we want to welcome to the stage Honorable Magdala Cooper, who will make a special statement. Thank you. She's the political advisor to the president. Thank you.
Political advisor to the president, Magdala Cooper.
Thank you. Women, oh, women. Women, oh, women. Women, this is our day. This is our day. Our leadership is in place. The Women Legislative Caucus is going to do some good work for us. 2029, we're going to have at least double the amount of women that's there. The Speaker has said it. The Deputy Speaker have said it, and the President's representation, which was the Vice President of Liberia, have said the President also is committed to making sure women are in the House of Legislature, both upper and lower house. Women, I don't have much to say. I didn't come here expecting to speak today. I know the VP was representing His Excellency, so I want to thank the women of the Legislative Caucus under the leadership of Ellen Atolbert from Magidi County, where my farm is. She's a good woman, a strong woman. We all have to put our arms around our sisters and support them, because as the representation of the Deputy Speaker said, it is up to us women to go and campaign with our brothers to make sure we have more men on our side. The women vote alone is not enough. It would take all of the he for she's to support us to get women into the House. Because when women are on the table where decisions are being made, where key decisions are being made, and even though we have a speaker who's a he for she, we have a president who believes in women, we have you know, all these men who believe that women is rightfully equipped and qualified, more than qualified, to lead in so many ways. Oh my gosh, I think I have an emergency. I have to get off the stage. But women, we have to support each other. Thank you. God bless all of you.
So at this time, we will call on Honorable Comfort Lante, representative, UN Women. Thank you. Can I have somebody help push the stage, please? Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable Vice President of the Republic of Liberia, Honorable Senate Pro Tem, Honorable Speaker of the House of Representatives, and all the distinguished members of the High Table here present. On behalf of UN Women, and indeed on behalf of the entire UN family, I want to congratulate the new leadership of the Women's Legislative Caucus and all members of the caucus as you begin your new term. The Women's Legislative Caucus has continued to push for laws and public conversations that reflect the realities of women and girls in Liberia. And you've done this together, both individually as well as collectively, and across party lines, helping to keep women's voices at the center of national debate. As UN Women, we've been proud to walk alongside you, supporting some of the advocacy around candidate quotas, around dialogues in the counties, and helping to create spaces for women's political participation. And this will remain a core part of our work going forward. We also want to sincerely thank our partners, the European Union, Sweden, and Ireland, for the consistent and long-standing support to gender equality and women's empowerment in Liberia. Your contributions have helped us to support the caucus, and we are also very proud to be doing this work alongside UNDP in Liberia. As previous speakers have already said, the number of women elected to parliament in Liberia is woefully inadequate. And this falls far below what Liberia itself has committed at the international level. And it means that the voices, priorities, and perspectives of women are not being fully reflected in national and local decision making. So the call for a mandatory gender quota and other forms of temporary special measures are not just about numbers. It's about building a system where women will have a fair chance to run, to lead, and to shape national decisions. And I want to thank Honorable Atto for actually underscoring the Women's Legislative Caucus's commitment to pushing this going forward. The new strategic plan of the Women's Legislative Caucus sets clear and practical directions, from strengthening legislation and budgeting to supporting women's participation in governance and peace building, to reinforcing the caucus as an institution. These are goals that are aligned with the Liberia's new development priorities and its international commitments. Let me, in closing, reaffirm UN Women's commitment to working and supporting the Women's Legislative Caucus and all the members of the legislature, and in partnership with all our partners, to help move the agenda forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Lante. Now we'll move to our development partners here present. We want to call on TK, Quinat, if you have remarks, short remarks. Thank you. And Madam Asha Lai will be making the remarks. Thank you.
Good afternoon. I'll stand on all existing protocols, but it's a wonderful occasion to be here. My name is Aisha Lai. I am the country director for Keynote, which is the Swedish women's rights organization. We've stood alongside our colleagues, our development partners, and most importantly, the women who represent our leadership in Liberia. So it's a privilege to be here today. And so many things have already been said, but I would just like to add that there's an importance of ensuring that we all reach gender equality. And this is a wonderful step. It's good to see that there's a positive and smooth transition in leadership for this caucus. It's good to see that we have our male champion cheerleaders in the back who are continuously keeping us energized. But since 2006, the caucus has been very active and ensuring that it's a vital force in challenging barriers and advancing women's equality through legislative action, advocacy, and awareness raising. As Queen to Queen, which means women to women, we are proud to walk alongside you. Our foundation is deeply committed to supporting women's rights organizations, which also supports the future, which is our young girls as well. And as a mother who is raising a very powerful daughter and a very powerful son, I think we are deeply committed to ensuring that going forward, that my children will have a Liberia that they will be proud of. And I think the most important way that we can do that is by ensuring that, especially for my daughter, that she sees more leaders, she sees more mentors, and we see more representation sitting at this table going forward. So I'd like to congratulate the new caucus. We're here to support, and we're here whether it's through affirmative action, budget reform, grassroots engagement, and most importantly, working through women, civil society. All my sisters who are sitting here today, yes, they are sometimes the visible but also the invisible force that advocates and pushes to ensure that we have gender equality. And they do it sometimes taking risks that other people wouldn't take. So these are your colleagues, and I encourage you to continue to work with them. I would like to thank all of you for inviting us. And by us, I mean women of civil society today. I can't speak on behalf of you, but I believe as we continue to work together, that through our joint vision and service, we will attain all of the wonderful things that everyone has said here today. Thank you very much.
Thank you. At this time, we will welcome on stage a representative from the National Elections Commission, and that's Commissioner Josephine Colgate, to make a special remarks. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. Honorable Speaker, members of the House of Representatives, Madam Senate Pro Tem, the members of the Senate, the Chairperson of the Women's Legislative Caucus, and all officials, our development partners, the Civil Society Organization of Liberia, distinguished guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. All that has already been said, but from the angle of the National Elections Commission, we'd like to congratulate the new leadership of the Women's Legislative Caucus. Today is not just for celebration, but today it is the day for action, the call to action. You have to prioritize legislation that enhances female political participation, not only to participate as voters, because we have over 50% of females as registered voters on our database at the Elections Commission, but also to contest elections, to win. When you contest elections, the only dividend is to win. And when you win, you must also lead. And most importantly, we have to be intentional with the proposed amendment from all of our partners that was submitted to the legislature. Where do we want this bill to be? From the National Elections Commission, we want to have a change for endeavor to ensure to be sharp. It should be mandatory, because only when laws are mandatory, it can be enforceable by the Elections Commission. We can make all the speeches and everything, but if we do not have the laws that are enforceable, women will not form part of the decision making that we all envisage. The National Elections Commission remains committed to working with female legislative caucus and all of our partners, especially so the civil society organizations, to make that dream of female representation a reality. And together we can make Liberia a better place. Thank you.
Without delay, we want to call on the Ministry of Gender, Children and Social Protection, if they're represented here, please. Because of time, 2 minutes, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon to all. Honorable Speaker Rachel Nangbe-Kun and the House of Legislature of the Republic of Liberia, Honorable Senate Pro Tem, our own dear sister, Senator Yomli Kana, the Women Legislative Caucus new elected leader, Honorable Ellie Antoine, the entire House of Representatives and the Legislative Caucus, our international partners and development partners, our hard-working civil society actors and activists, and not forgetting our mentor, Madam Yvette Chairperson. She's also recognized your presence and your effort today. On behalf of the Minister of Gender, Children and Social Protection, Mr. Bemi Harris Kwali, she should have been here today, but she has an international engagement. So I'm not a minister, but just a consultant to the ministry on the gender department. Today marks another significant move for women inclusion and participation in key decision-making process. From our end, from the Ministry of Gender, the minister wants the caucus to work along with the women movement, because we cannot succeed in our agenda if we exclude them. And working with the women movement of Liberia, she wants us to amplify the voices of women of grassroots, then the women of peace actors, and open our doors to them, to seek their advice, to know what they are going through, to identify their needs and work with them. And she also said that she wants to make her commitment to working with the Legislative Caucus. Her door at the ministry is open,
and she's going to partner with you to do a lot of work to move women's agenda ahead. To our honorable speaker and the vice president, we want to let you know that we will hold you accountable for section 4.5. And we are going to rush to your door to make sure that there will be gender inclusion, especially women in their budget. We are getting ready. Please open your door to us. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we want to welcome on stage the Association of Female Lawyers of Liberia. Is there a representative here? Association of Female Lawyers of Liberia. So we will move up to FIJA, the Female Journalists Association of Liberia. We want to welcome Madam Lisa Darcy, who will be making a special statement. Thank you.
Madam Pro Tem, I know you're leaving. The chairperson of the Women Legislative Caucus, congratulations, and all members of the caucus, the UN Women, and other high table, the women of Liberia, civil society organizations. We want to say hello to everybody. This chapter is a new chapter for the women of Liberia, and we want to challenge the Women Legislative Caucus of Liberia to mainstream intergenerational leadership into whatever you're going to be doing. I know much more of the speakers up here referenced mentorship, and I want you to take that as very, very much high on your agenda as the chairperson of the caucus, because beyond these seats at the legislature, there are much more younger women and real strong grassroots women who want to sit in these spaces to make decisions. And all of the decisions that we want to make, it depends on the younger generation and also depends on the intergenerational leadership changes that we want to make at our different institutions. So on that note, I want to say congratulations to you and the members of the caucus, and also congratulations to the pro tem. I know the speaker used to be the champion of 4.5. Now that he's the speaker, I know much more will be done around that. Congratulations, and let God bless.
Thank you. We want to welcome the Women NGO Secretariat of Liberia, Wongoso, to make a statement. Wongoso is the umbrella organization of all women-led institutions and women-focused institutions in Liberia. You're welcome.
Honorable members of the legislators, distinguished member of the Women Legislative Caucus, our partners, our guests, the members of the Women NGO Secretary of Liberia, Wangosa, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to extend our congratulations to the newly inducted members of the Women Legislative Caucus. Today's ceremony is not just a formal occasion, it is a reaffirmation of our collective commitment to the advancement of women's leadership and gender equality in Liberia. The Women Legislative Caucus remain critical and an ally to our civil society space, particularly to those of us working on the front line of advocacy for women's rights and inclusive government. As you take on the mantles of leadership, we are reminded of the urgent need for a deeper collaboration between lawmakers and civil society actors to ensure policy reflects the reality of Liberian women and girls. Liberia continues to grapple with entrenched gender-specific challenges ranging from gender-based violence, limited access to justice, harmful traditional practices, and also critical decision-making that put women to a position where we are underrepresented. As a caucus, you are uniquely positioned to lead the change or the challenges to close policy gap that hinder women's empowerment, whether it's advancing legal framework or domestic act, championing the anti-FGM legislation, or ensuring gender budgeting across sectors. Your role is important in transforming aspiration into actionable results. Wongosa and its network of over 250 women organizations stand ready to support the caucus in policy development, stakeholder engagement, grassroots mobilization together. We must strive to ensure that every bill passed, every budget approved, and every oversight conducted consider the gender implication of women population. Let this induction mark the beginning of a new chapter, one where collaboration, accountability, transformative leadership drive our shared mission to build an inclusive Liberia for all. Once again, from the Women NGO Secretariat, we would like to say thank you. I'm here today. My name is Laura. I'm prosecuting for Esther Yango, who is in the States representing the country. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So at this time, we will call on the Federation of Liberian Youth, FLY, to make short remarks. Because of time, may we limit the time of our remarks. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Honorable Senate Pro Tem, Madam Yomli Kanga, Honorable members of the House of Parliament, member of the Women Legislative Caucus, Madam Kofa Lante, Head of UN Women, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, members of the civil society present, I am honored to stand before you as the President of the Federation of Liberian Youth to speak on behalf of young people of Liberia, particularly young women. First of all, I would like to say congratulations to the newly inducted official of the Legislative Women Caucus. And I want to say that this induction is not just a historic celebration, it is a reaffirmation to progress to representation into a collective commitment to tackle women issues all across this nation. To all of you who have been inducted today, you represent the dream of people who have gone before you. And to us who are coming after you, you represent our hope and aspiration. Today we want to admonish you to take the charge of responsibility to tackle issues affecting young women. We listened to you, Madam Ellen, as you spoke to us concerning your framework, and there was a huge emphasis made on empowering young women to be able to take the mantle of leadership in the House of Legislature. I want to say yes, we young people are prepared, we are ready to be mentored, we are ready to be taught. But most importantly, we also want to remind you about the issues that affect us as young people, driving from education, empowerment, huge pay disparities according to the UN Women, and we also need empowerment, because when we are empowered and informed, we can be able to take on the charge of leadership. To all of you who have come to celebrate with them today, we hope that we all can give them the necessary support in order to live up to their mandate. In the Federation of Liberia, we particularly look forward to our partnership in whatever way we can support the caucus to be able to push the issues of women, particularly young women in this country. Thank you very much, and I'm really honored to be here.
Thank you. We are almost about to end. We want to quickly recognize a veteran women advocate in our midst, Councillor Dr. Yvette Chesson, and we'll call her up for short remarks. Thank you.
Thank you. Women! women. Thank you. Honorable Kanga Lawrence, Senator Pro Tem. First of all protocols observed. Honorable members here present, members of the Legislative Caucus. I really am very happy today to be here. One, because this is an extremely important event for the Republic of Liberia. That you, the women, are taking your seats in the 55th Legislative Session and are representing the Republic of Liberia. It is awesome. You are great. You are phenomenal. We thank you. It has not been an easy haul, and we know that. So we want to say thank you so much for taking on this mantle. It's a very difficult mantle. It comes from, first of all, those who are here for the first time, learning the rules of the House. People have no idea the hurdles that you will have to go through to learn the ropes, to know how to deal with the others, to know how to even deal with yourself, to understand how to wield the power that you now have. And I want you to know, ladies, you have the power. Use it, and use it wisely, and use it for us. So I want to say in all rights, thank you, and congratulations. The Angie Brooks International Center for Women's Empowerment, Leadership Development, International Peace and Security looks forward to working with you all as you move forward and represent our country. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And lastly, we will call on Senator Boto Kanen, Senate Chair on Gender from the Senate, to make special remarks.
The Pro Tem of the Liberian Senate, please allow me to stand on the established protocol. Let me say congratulations to the inducted staffs. In every organization, there is an example. I am an example for the market women. I want to say a big thanks to the women of Liberia. And again, I want to say to the women of Liberia, do not underestimate any woman. Or bony seller can be representative at the House of Representatives. So if we are doing this, we need to go in search of people. Don't just look at who will speak the grammar. You said they can represent you. We all are important in the eyes of God. Today, no one can believe or could believe that a dry meat seller will become a senator of an county. But today, I am proud because history is always repeating itself. When you go out, they will say, look at that dry meat seller. So I am proud. Anywhere I go, I tell people that I came from the table to the mansion. From zero to hero. From west to good. I want to tell you people that as I close that women's problem are human rights problem. So we all have to join together if we want women to participate in government, especially the electoral processes. We have to go out there and encourage the women
to be like the other women. You cannot stay in your house or in your bedroom or whatsoever, then you say you want to be a representative, or you want to be a senator, or you want to take example from Senator Kane. You will be fooling yourself. You have to stay strong and be courageous, because all the battle we fight is not for us, it's for the Lord, in Jesus' name.
Thank you, Senator. We will now take vote of thanks, and that will be done by Honorable Ruki Barry. Here we give her a hand of applause as she do the vote of thanks.
Thank you. To the vote of thanks of this induction ceremony of the Women Caucus of Liberia. We just want to tell you a little bit.
Honorable Senate Pro Tem,
ceremony is set today.
Please permit me to stand on existing protocol.
Place on the grounds of the
All protocol observed. I am deeply honored to extend heartfelt thanks and appreciation on behalf of the Women Legislative Caucus to all of you who came to grace this memorable occasion. To our outgoing officers, we salute you. Your tireless service, strong leadership, and unwavering commitment have laid a solid foundation upon which we proudly stand today. Thank you for your dedication and service. To our newly inducted officers, including myself, we say congratulations. This ceremony marks the official start of your leadership, or our leadership. We have no doubt that we will continue the advocacy for the rights and welfare of women across Liberia. We thank you for accepting the mantle of leadership, and we pledge our collective support as we take on this global responsibility. We want to extend heartfelt appreciation to our keynote speaker, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, invited guests and partners. Your presence here today is a strong testament to the importance of collaboration and solidarity in our shared mission for gender equality and inclusive governance. Thank you for your encouragement, support, and partnership. To Mariah and her staff at the office of the Women Legislative Caucus, and everyone who worked behind the scenes, I say a big thank you for your hard work and attention to detail, which made this program a success. Let me end with this African proverb that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go very far,
the 55th legislature currently
go together.
Female lawmakers.
Let us therefore move together
and 3 senators
move forward in unity to achieve our mission. Thank you all, and may God bless the Women Legislative Caucus and the Republic of Liberia. Thank you.
So LNTV will say thank you for following us for this podcast.
We have come to the end of this ceremony. Again, my name is Laura Takakova, your MC. This time we will all stand as we sing the national anthem.
As the newly chairperson of the Legislative Caucus. And the program is almost empty, but the things has been done. Thank you.
Okay, before we sing the national anthem, because after here we will be going straight to lunch, please have your seat for just a minute. Let me talk about the protocol. So I was hinted, sorry. After the national anthem, we're going straight to lunch, and there'll be no talking. The high table will be served over there. Those of you in the pews, please be served over there. We are taking it, people who are sitting, please be the first to go, and then those who are standing around can also join in. Thank you for your understanding. Now may we sing the national anthem. All hail Liberia.
joy and gladness, with hearts united we shout the freedom of others united. Long live Liberia, happy land. There's home of glorious liberty by God's command. There's home of glorious liberty by God's command.
Thank you.
So that's it. Thank you for following us, and we'll now end this broadcast.